Back in a lower Manhattan courtroom for day 3 of jury selection for his federal corruption trial. He's accused of accepting cash and gold bars, a luxury car, in exchange for using his influence to help several New Jersey businessmen.
Menendez has pleaded not guilty on Monday. Attorneys questioned about 100 prospective jurors, but no one was selected. The trial is expected to last up to 8 weeks. Joining us now is Donte Mills, civil and criminal attorney. Welcome.
Thank you for having me this morning.
So what's most shocking to you about the charges that Menendez faces this time around?
Well, the charge itself, when you think of the movies and these kind of bribery charges and someone in the government being paid off, this is a classic situation. You have 3 businessmen who paid in gold bars, in cash, and then a car in order to get favors from different governments. One is the Qatar government. They paid Bob Menendez so that he could do favors for the Qatar government in order for them to get a business deal, and also the Egyptian government. And in this case, there were 3 businessmen that were related. One of those businessmen has already pled guilty and is going to testify against him. So he has somebody who is saying, I was a part of that deal. I know what happened, and I know that I paid him off in order to get a business deal. So this isn't a situation where you have some kind of speculation or people on the outside assuming what happened. You have someone who was a part of what was going on that said, I did something wrong, I pled guilty to that, and now I'm going to tell it and talk about the people I was in that deal with. And one of those people is Senator Bob Menendez.
The judge has been struggling to find jurors here. How difficult is it going to be to get jury's members selected?
It's going to be very difficult because Bob Menendez is a very, very popular figure in this region. He's a New Jersey senator. New York is the case is in federal court in New York. Obviously, geographically, is close related, and people know who he is. So when you're looking for a jury, you want people who are going to come in and be fair. One of the questions they ask are, do you know this person, and will your knowledge of him influence your decision as a jury? And a lot of those people are saying yes. And once they say yes, they have to be off. They cannot be a part of this jury, whether they're going to be influenced in a positive or negative way. If they're not coming in even, they shouldn't be on the jury, and that's why this judge is having a hard time.
But Donte, if you can sit 12 for the Trump trial, you can sit 12 for this one, correct?
Yes, you would assume that, and there will be a jury selected. There's no question about it. And as we saw with the Trump trial, initially there were a lot of people that were off, but once they narrowed it down, it kind of sped up the process. I think they're at this point now in the Menendez trial. It's funny, these trials are right down the street, literally from each other. The one courthouse is down the street 1 block and behind. These trials will be going on at the same time. They will find people eventually that will be able to sit. But these are big names you're talking about, not just random people. And Bob Menendez has been around for a very long time and has impacted a lot of people's lives.
Yeah. Have prosecutors been able to say how they think Menendez helped the governments of Egypt and Qatar?
So that's one of the things that they're going to have to tie in, and I think that's probably the best defense for Bob Menendez right now. Even if there was an agreement made, even if he received gold bars and money, what did he actually do to impact these governments? And that's where they're going to have to find somebody, because if you're a businessman, a part of that deal, you don't know on the back end what Bob Menendez exactly did to assist those governments. But you would assume if this case is moving forward, they have people who are aware of what happened in some of those back rooms, aware of some of the lobbying that Bob Menendez did for either Qatar or Egypt, in order to get them more benefits from his senator seat.
So how does Menendez plan on defending himself, and do you expect him to blame his wife entirely here?
You're absolutely right there. I think that's where he's going to go. He's going to say, there was gold bars and cash exchange along with that car. It's hard not to, because they found 13 gold bars in his possession in his home. But he's going to say, they made this deal with my wife. She did something without telling me. I was not aware of this. This is something she had going on. She promised them that she would have influence over me, but it never happened. She was the one who made the promise. It never got to me, and I never responded or did anything in exchange for that. It was all her. Her trial is coming up in July. It's interesting to see how much blame he takes, if any, or if he shifts it all to her. And then if he's successful in that, in July does the story change, right? To protect her then when it's her time for the trial. It's going to be interesting to see if he protects his wife now or later.
But let me, so Menendez is being tried with those two other gentlemen that you just saw on the screen there. Nadine is being tried on her own in July, as you mentioned. Is this enough to get him off on this case, to just say, you know what, I didn't know what she was up to, this is all my way? I mean, how safe a play is that for him? I mean, he's not dumb.
It's the only play.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a safe play because we don't know. The third businessman who pled guilty and is going to come in and testify, if his conversations were with Bob Menendez's wife only, right, then he has a chance. If that person is going to come in and say, yes, she was the liaison, I never spoke with or dealt with Bob Menendez directly on this, I spoke to her, then there's an opening there for Bob Menendez to say, yes, she was supposed to, she promised him she would come tell me to do things, but she never did. That's the only opening that he has, because he can't say that they didn't receive the gold bars, the cash, and the car. He has to say, he has to put that layer of protection between him and the businessman, and his wife could be that only layer if there was not direct contact or conversations between the businessman and Bob Menendez himself.
And there are calls for Menendez to resign. Right now, he's declined to say whether he will resign if he's convicted. Are you expecting him to resign?
Well, he said he's going to stick it out. He said the people voted him in, and he has a job to do. He did say that he's not going to run again, no matter the outcome, as a Democrat. He didn't rule out running again as an independent. I think he's popular enough and has enough name recognition that if he did get off and ran again as an independent, there's a strong possibility he would win. But he did say he's not going to run as a Democrat. We know this is his second corruption trial. He beat a corruption trial, and it was a hung jury back in 2017, and he was right back in office and reelected. So there's an opening again. If he wins this trial, he may run as a Democrat, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's voted back in the office just because of his name.
Very interesting. All right, Donte, thank you very much. Our civil and criminal attorney that's joining us here this morning, Donte Mills. We appreciate it.
Thank you.